everyone, it is Heidi Sawyer
And Katie Ramirez.
here with you today from Manpower, Maine, and we want to talk a little bit about work ethic. You've heard that term thrown around quite a lot probably over the years, and it's a little bit of a nebulous term. So today we really want to discuss what it is, what it looks like, if it's an absolute quality that you either have or don't have, how it impacts you in the job search, how it impacts you in the world of work,
And if it's lacking, what can you do about it?
so that's what we want to talk about today. So Katie, what exactly is work ethic?
Well, like you said before, it is kind of a term that people throw around, but depending on who you ask, you probably get a lot of different answers. I think what it ultimately comes down to is an understanding of the value of hard work and all the benefits it has to offer, as well as a drive to reap those benefits.
Right, so almost like this intrinsic understanding of the role that work plays in your life.
Exactly.
And what it brings to you and the desire to protect that almost at all cost.
So a lot of people talk about work ethic as if it's this thing that you either have or you don't. I don't think that's true though. I think that it is, you can have varying degrees of both positive and negative work ethic qualities in the same person.
I think that's a great point because when I think of work ethic, the first time that I ever really probably heard that term was in the school-based setting, right? And the student either had work ethic or they didn't. And those same students would get into the workforce and demonstrate an exemplary work ethic. So what is that disconnect there?
Yeah, and I feel like treating it as something that's all or nothing is, really disempowering, like in the example you gave with the students, because, if it's all or nothing, if you don't have it, it's like, well, too bad, I'm never going to have it, why bother? But I think that it is something that you can work on, like a skill that you can build over time through consistent action every day.
Right, and I think that it's also this spectrum, this really large spectrum. As we were working on this piece, I even looked at it and joked over with Katie, was like, wow, a little lacking in some of the work ethic opportunities. But it's not that I don't have it. I do view myself as a very hard worker, and Katie views herself as a very hard worker, but there's always room for improvement. And I think that's the approach that we all need to take when we're looking at work ethic.
Absolutely.
So this year, each month, we're looking at different basic skills that everyone needs to thrive in the world of work, whether it's in job search or actually once they get into the world of employment. And so as we look at each of these basic skills, Katie's kind of taking a look at the job search aspect, whereas I'm going to focus a little bit more on the once you get into the world of work. So Katie, why don't you go ahead and tell us what it's like, what work ethic looks like in the job search?
Sure, absolutely. So, there's so many different behaviors that can help you exhibit, a positive work ethic in the job search. But, three traits that I keep coming back to are, proactive, self-aware, and realistic. So proactive in that you're not, waiting for the right opportunity to find you. You're not just applying to one job and waiting to hear back. You're going out proactively, exploring multiple opportunities because your priority is to find work and find something that's a good fit. But self-aware in that, you understand your needs versus wants. So needs being, those non-negotiables, like this is what I absolutely need to make this work. And then the wants with, these are nice to haves, but they're not necessarily deal breakers, which brings me to being realistic. So once you have an understanding of those needs and wants, work ethic kind of necessitates that you're willing to make reasonable compromises.
So a good example of that is, let's say income, right? So you look at your family finances and you say, you know what, I really need to, at a bare minimum, make XYZ dollars. I really want to make
Who doesn't want to make more, right?
Right. So, but it's really taking the time to take stock of what your needs are versus your wants are. And as the job search becomes maybe a little bit more lengthy, you're willing to make more reasonable sacrifices.
I think that's exactly right. Especially your example with income. We all want to make more money, but if you find a job that meets most of your needs and it's, say, maybe 25 cents less per hour, is the peace of mind that immediate employment can give you and the stability worth it? It's kind of up to you to decide.
There's also even the concept of that looking for work is a job.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Right?
Yeah.
So, like, you're getting up first thing in the morning and you're starting to search for work. You get dressed as if you're going to work. You have that intrinsic motivation that work is your number one priority, or securing work is a high priority. Maybe not number one. We all have family and everything like that. But it takes a driving force in your life. So, you're not just going to be lackadaisical in your approach.
Exactly. So as we mentioned previously, Heidi and I have been talking about, work ethic a lot and about what it looks like in the job search as well as on the job. Heidi's been looking into and kind of delving into what it looks like as far as exhibiting work ethic in the workplace. So she's going to talk more about that now.
So while it's not entirely different, it looks a little bit different because you've now secured the job and your number one goal isn't necessarily securing employment, but it is about keeping employment and setting that professional brand that you're looking for. So people with a strong work ethic, they are going to be excellent managers of their time. That means they're going to arrive on time when they're supposed to, ready to work. They're not generally the ones that are going to come and linger at the coffee maker for the first 45 minutes of their shift. They're going to come in ready to work each and every day. They're going to strive to be above average, just floating by and, getting the job done good enough isn't enough for them. They really want to make sure that they're focusing on quality and setting the bar for results, because they understand that that's being a good steward of the company. They stay busy during downtimes. So it happens. Systems are going to go down, work gets slow, but they're going to keep themselves busy. While they might, get along with their coworkers and enjoy some occasional chit chat, it doesn't become such a distraction that they lose out on productivity. Speaking of how they work with their coworkers, they are not going to get involved in office drama, politics, gossip, because it's all noise, right? So somebody with a strong work ethic is going to avoid those noises and distractions. And most importantly, they do not make excuses for missing a deadline, not meeting their numbers, or poor quality of work. Mistakes happen. Sometimes we're going to fall short of results. And it's not about the act of falling short or missing a deadline. It's about the personal accountability. It's about learning from the errors, learning what held you back. And people with strong work ethic, they're not going to make any excuses. They're going to analyze the situation, find out what they can do different next time, and go forward with that.
Yeah, and I think it's important also to mention, that isn't all to say that, people with a strong work ethic can't have fun at work.
Right.
And can't, be playful in certain ways. But ultimately, they're on a mission, and, doing that work and doing it well is the priority.
Absolutely. They're not robots. So we don't want anyone to walk away from this thinking that, we have unrealistic expectations of what a hard worker looks like. Hard workers have fun. They enjoy their peers. They work hard, but they know at the end of the day, everything that's the first priority is the work. So what's going to happen? I mean, some days are better than others. Some days you're going to have a higher work ethic feeling than others. But if you're noticing that you have a chronic issue with your work ethic, or people have kind of questioned your work ethic, then there are steps that you can take in order to make some improvements. What do you think, Katie?
So I think as far as the job search is concerned, I want to talk about the resume a little bit, because that is a piece that, it might be the only information that a potential employer has about you before they decide to, make the call to bring you in and learn more.
It's at least the first piece of information.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And so, I think it's really important to avoid chronic job hopping or multiple lengthy employment gaps as much as possible, because life happens. Hiring managers understand, that sometimes there might be emergencies or changes in life circumstances that, require you to change jobs or to be out of work for a period of time. But if it's something, if your resume is showing a long-term trend of these things happening over and over again, that might give them pause and, have them wondering, is that a result of lack of work ethic? What's going on here? So when possible, definitely think about what you really want, what you're able to give to the job before accepting a job, because ultimately that's going to help prevent, job dissatisfaction and quick turnover.
Absolutely. And I think that's really important when you're looking at once you've gotten into the world of work. There might come a time where you are disengaged in your work, and while naturally you have this excellent hard work ethic and you show up on time and you give everything your all, maybe it's something about the atmosphere that you're working in that is kind of depleting that motivation. And I think people that have a strong work ethic will make sure that they take the time to recognize that. And instead of taking advantage of it and just coming in every day and shuffling through the motions, they're going to say, you know what, it's not a good use of my time and resources, and it's not a good use of the company's time and resources for me to continue on working this way. So if they've reached out for help, support, and they're still not feeling that they're getting there, then maybe it's at that point in time that you decide it's time to move on. And it's not personal. It's not with any bad will or ill intentions. It's just understanding that that's the nature of the beast and making the quick and responsible decision to move on with appropriate notice.
And I think that really ties well into the point you made earlier about how, people with a strong work ethic want to work hard and they want to work well. And if somebody's, in an environment like that, then they're not really able to accomplish either of those things.
Right. So that's kind of our quick little snippet on work ethic. We have a couple of articles on our website. You can find them at manpowermaine.com. And we'll continue to bring these tips to thrive all throughout the year. But we hope that you really enjoyed this topic.
Thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you soon.